So let's pick up where we left off yesterday. As my final stretch goal yesterday, I showed you this block of code. And let me remind you exactly what it does. It takes the message, experience is the teacher of all things. It loops through that message, one letter at a time. And for each letter, it looks up the location of that letter in the alphabet. So for example, for an index of 0, looping through all the way through the message, we're going to say, okay, well, at index 0, what is the character in the phrase, experience is the teacher of all things? At index 0, that character is E. So letter in message becomes E. We have this if-else logic that deals with spaces and -1s, but don't worry about that for now. We're going to show the letter in message, so show the letter E from experience on the screen of the microbit. And then the next step is to find the index, the location of that letter in the alphabet. So in the alphabet, we're going to find the location of E, and that will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. One last step, because we're used to thinking of E as the 5th letter in the alphabet, is we're going to change that index, 4 for E, by 1. We're going to add 1 to it. And so 4 is going to become 5. And eventually we'll display 5 on the screen as well, show the number. So we show both E and the number 5. One more time. Next time through the loop, index is 1 instead of 0. We're going to go all the way from 0 to however many characters there are in message. So when index is 1, we ask the question, what is the character in experience is the teacher of all things that corresponds to an index of 1? And that character, 0, 1, is X. So letter in message is now X. We will show this string, this X, this character on the screen of the microbit. Then we will look in alphabet and find the location that corresponds to X, because letter in message is X, which is 23, starting at 0. We'll add 1 to it, because we usually think of X as the 24th letter of the alphabet, and then we'll show that on the screen. And we continue all the way through the phrase, experience is the teacher of all things. So we'll just try that. E is 5, X is 24, P will be 16th letter in the alphabet. E is the 5th letter again. So why I introduced this example is it's really, really close to our ultimate goal of writing code software to encode messages using the Caesar cipher, and later we'll think about decoding them, deciphering them as well. Why is it so close? Well, think about what we're doing here. We're taking, say, the letter E. We're finding where it is in the alphabet, 5. And if you think about what the Caesar cipher does, it shifts to a slightly different letter in the alphabet. So Caesar himself, Julius Caesar, used a shift of 3. So E, which is at location 5, would become 1, 2, 3, H at location 8. So you could change this index. Currently it's by 1 to get E. You're going to want to change it by something else to achieve a Caesar cipher. There's one more step to fully implement a Caesar cipher. Currently what I've given you is a way to get the index, the location in the alphabet that corresponds to a particular letter, and shift it somehow, change it. But you don't really want the index, you don't want the number, you don't want to show the number on the screen that corresponds to that index. You want to find the character in the alphabet that corresponds to that index. So there's a leading hashed out block of code here, another character from something at index, which is what you really want to change your E by 3 places into H, and then show that character on the screen. Don't show the number, don't show index and alphabet. So that's all the information I think you need to begin to write your blocks of code that will create the encoding for the Caesar cipher. So I have some questions I'd like you to complete today. The first one is, for the same message we've been using, experience is the teacher of all things, write your Caesar cipher with a shift of 0. This may seem pointless. A becomes A, B becomes B, and so on. Why even do this? Well, the reason to do this is, if you've set your code up right with a shift of 0, you should find that you recover your original message. So when you press play on your microbit, you should see the message experience is the teacher of all things. That's how you know it's working. And if you see that message and you've got it right, then the trick is to switch to using a shift of 3 instead of 0. The key or shift that Julius Caesar himself used, so that the A will become a D, the B becomes an E. Most importantly, the E at the start of experience would become an H, and so on. If you take the phrase, this is the question I really want you to address today, question 2. If you take the phrase, experience is the teacher of all things, use the Caesar cipher. If you want more understanding of what it is, look it up in the slides I presented in yesterday's video at the start of yesterday. Flip everything, switch everything by 3, and what is the secret message? What is the encoded secret message that results from experience is the teacher of all things? If you can do that today, fantastic. One more thing to think about. If you use my setup here and you shift from E to H, shift by 3, and manage to display that H on the screen for index 1 in message, for when you're the E, you're going to find that you hit a problem. Maybe some of you can already see what that problem is. It's going to be related to the letter X. If you can determine what the problem is, my last question is try and fix it. So something's going to go wrong with letter X if you get this right. Can you fix that problem? Finally, and this is easier than it seems, I promise. If you have written your Caesar cipher, if you've addressed question 2, your final goal is to go in reverse. It's to modify your code to decipher the message you obtained in your answer to question 2. So question 2 will give you an answer. It's your encoded secret message. The final goal is to, instead of a shift or key of 3, to use a shift or key of -3 to decipher or decode the message. And you'll know you've got that right because you'll recover your encoded message. Experience is the teacher of all things. You will crack your own code. So give these questions a go by modifying this code block. Remember my leading that somewhere here-ish, you're going to need to change an index in something back into a character to display on the screen. You'll need to show a string instead of showing a number. Try modifying the code to address these questions, and I'll come back in 35 or 40 minutes to show you my answers.